Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with my good friend ShadesAtKnight.
Hey guys.
And as well, for the first time ever, another good friend here, Edward262. How are you, Ed?
Good, good. Hello, everyone.
And we are here to talk about pretty much the inevitable Batman reboot that Warner Brothers has pretty much said right now is scheduled for 2016 and will not be an origin story. And apparently, and again, this might be prone to change, the origins of Gotham. So we're going to be here talking about who we want to see direct the movie, and who to write it, cast, characters, yada yada yada. So initially, guys, the biggest hurdle is whoever is doing this has pretty much got to build off the shoulders of a giant. That is the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, they really need a director who has a very, very solid vision. And in my opinion, one of the reasons why the Nolan films are so great is that Nolan is one of the most hands-on directors in film. Like, he doesn't have a second unit. He writes both the story and the screenplay. He produces. His wife produces. Syncopy is his company. So I think they really need a director who... One of the things that Warner Brothers shouldn't do is give the director too many mandates, and really the director tell their Batman story.
Yeah. Ed, what do you think?
I agree. Just somebody who has a definite, understanding and vision for the character, and just, and I really think they really need, just a solid story, you know what I mean? More than anything else, just a really good script, to really bring it to life, I guess,
Yeah, like you said in your failed Batman franchise, Darren Aronofsky would be my pick for director for a Batman movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aronofsky nearly directed Batman Year One back before Begins was made, and then they dropped that. And Aronofsky, he's really on the list of directors. He is in the top 2 to direct a Batman film, in my opinion, because he just has that psychological. I mean, he gets characters like Batman, and he's already written characters like Batman, and they're not Batman films. He understands the psychological twists and turns of a character like Batman. So, and what he was planning for Year One kind of sounded cool. So, I don't need them to do that, and they're not going to be doing an origin story. But something around those lines would be kind of cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Ed, of Aronofsky as director?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say exactly what Kirk said. I remember reading that he was, exactly what he said, that Aronofsky was going to do Batman Year One, and that they actually got Frank Miller to rewrite an actual shooting script, but for whatever reason they dropped the project. But I think he would be an excellent choice. Like you said, he understands the source material. He has a firm grip on how to do, kind of deep psychological stories, as well as being able to handle the kind of more, fantastical as well. So, if of course we're just, supposing, but, if he were to come on board for something like that, I think that would be an excellent choice.
Yeah, Aronofsky would be great. For writers, I don't know. There are so many in my head. And actually, another director, getting back on directors, another one I really want to see direct is, and this one you guys might argue with me, is the same director of the First Class movies.
Oh, Bryan Singer, you mean?
Yeah, for some reason, I really want to see him tackle Batman. I don't know what. He has such a great handle on fictional characters. I'd really just like to see his version of Batman, and we might actually get something along the lines of something like, I want to see Batman's more superpowered villains in this franchise, like Clayface and Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay.
Vaughn as director?
I'm sorry, what, Kirk?
Are we talking about Bryan Singer or Matthew Vaughn?
Matthew Vaughn.
Right.
That's what I meant to say, not Singer Vaughn.
Okay, I messed up then. I'm sorry.
All good. I like Matthew Vaughn. I gotta admit, I wasn't really a fan of Kick-Ass, and that's not necessarily because of him. I just don't really care for the story that much. Finally made film. But you look at some of his other films, like Layer Cake and stuff, he also does really cool mob movies. So he does awesome supernatural stuff and cool detective, mob, crime, thriller sort of films. So he would be really cool for Batman, but I have a feeling he'll be tied up in X-Men for some time.
Yeah. And here's a third one, and I'm just throwing this out here. Sam Raimi for Batman. What do you think?
I wonder how he would approach it, because Sam Raimi is kind of I don't know what I want to say. I don't know if I want to say the word old school, but, you know, I wonder if he would be doing, you know, a modern take on Batman, or if he'd be doing more of a 70s take on Batman. Because from what I remember reading somewhere, Marvel actually had to kind of pressure him into doing, like, you know, bringing in Venom for the third movie and trying to bring in more modern storylines.
It wasn't Marvel. It was Sony.
Oh, really? Oh, okay then. But from what I remember, he originally just wanted to stick to people like, you know, the Vulture and stuff like that. And somebody said to him, like, hey, you know, that's cool that you remember all these 60s and 70s characters, but, you know, there are these other characters out there that more, you know, contemporary fans are into, you know, and, you know, they kind of said, hey, you know, kind of get with the times or whatever. So I wonder how he would approach it. I mean, I don't think it would be a bad film, but, you know, I wonder if, you know, if that's, you know, I would be curious as to what type of direction he would go into, you know.
If Warner Brothers are looking to reboot Batman and make it as big a success as the Nolan films, and if you're not looking to make it a big success, then there's no point in trying. But, like, if you're looking to make a film as big as that, Sam Raimi probably isn't the director I would go to, even though the Spider-Man films, even Spider-Man 3, box office-wise, was a huge success. And, you know, with all due respect to Sam Raimi, because I do think he's a good filmmaker, I'm not sure if he is the person I would be giving the reins of Batman to. In all honesty, my top pick is a director named Duncan Jones, who did Moon and The Source Code. And he's also the son of David Bowie, so that's kind of cool. But he's a really awesome director, and he's only done 2 features, but with Moon, I kind of see Moon in a similar way to how I look at Memento, for what Memento did for Nolan. If you ever get a chance, watch those 2 films, like Moon and Source Code. They're really great, and he kind of gets the more supernatural kind of stuff, as well as, you know, doing films about real human characters. So he's honestly my top pick.
Yeah, again, Sam Raimi was just a shot in the dark for me. I don't know, maybe because that would be the surefire way I could get stuff like Clayface, and because damn it, I want to get away from the realistic Batman and get back to like a good combination of Nolan and the Burton Schumacher stuff, and you can blend like the fantastical stuff we saw in the Burton Schumacher films, but mix it with the darkness we saw in Batman Begins. And I was like, Raimi was good at that in the first Spider-Man movie, the second Spider-Man movie in some way.
I have a feeling Warner Brothers will want to keep it somewhat realistic, though, because I feel like that's what all the other superhero movies are for, in their eyes. Like, if you want supernatural, you know, stuff, you can go see Avengers. If you want the more grounded reality superhero, you come see Dark Knight Rises. I feel like that's kind of what this... And if you want something that's kind of in between, you go see Amazing Spider-Man. Like, I kind of feel like that might be Warner Brothers' mentality. I don't necessarily agree with that. I would like to see some more stuff with Batman fighting the mob and stuff like that. And you can also introduce the more fantastical villains through that. I mean, one of the things that I think is really good in The Long Halloween is that they, the mob, is kind of starting to hire freaks to do their dirty work. And I feel like that would be kind of a cool angle to do.
Yeah. Good. That is a good point. And among other things, again, I have no clue who we could get for writer, because I don't know. It's really hard to it's really difficult to write Batman. I mean, Goyer said it was difficult enough as it was.
Yeah.
So I can't give a definitive answer there.
I would be cool with them giving it to a comic book writer. Like, I would be fine with Scott Snyder writing a Batman film.
You see, I was going to say Scott Snyder or Frank Miller, if they were going to try, if they were going to get Aronofsky and if they wanted to do Miller and Aronofsky together as a movie like he originally intended. Yeah, of course. But the thing is with comic book writers doing movie script is like a lot of the like Warner Brothers have pretty much shot down a lot of comic book writers because they don't think they get the money, even though they're the ones who made the character popular. Isn't that right, Warner Brothers, when you shot down Jeff Johns?
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is that comic book writers should be the first people they look to, because they get the character than anyone. They're the ones writing what the character is thinking, saying, doing, everything. Like, they should be the ones writing some of these films. I'm not saying that, there haven't been great comic book movies that aren't written by comic book writers, but you look at Avengers this year, I mean, Joss Whedon isn't known for writing comics, necessarily, but, I knew straight away that he would be good to be so hands-on with Avengers, because he gets superhero teams, like Astonishing X-Men. His run on Astonishing X-Men is brilliant. So, like, Joss Whedon's a good example of someone who writes comics and wrote the film, and it was pretty darn great.
Yeah.
So
it's the same with Oh, I'm sorry. Were you still talking?
That's cool. Go ahead, man.
It's the same thing with when Joe Johnston was doing the Captain America movie, and Ed Brubaker was looking over the script. He didn't write it, but he was there as an advisor.
Yeah, I think Marvel are a little bit smarter about letting some of their writers be more integral in the production of these films. I was at a Q&A with one of the producers of 300 not too long ago at my school, and I asked how much influence Frank Miller had on the production. And I'm not a huge Frank Miller fan, but I was interested to know. And the producer said, I mean, obviously he's integral in the fact that he wrote the story, but apart from that, he doesn't really have anything to do with the production. And I'm not sure if Miller wanted anything to do with the production necessarily, but I find that interesting that they don't have even something like 300, which is a graphic novel. They don't have the writer sort of play an integral part in the post-production or the pre-production.
Yeah. Ed, what do you think of comic book writers if you could get a comic book writer for this movie?
You know what's more important? I think it's more important that you have producers that understand the source material. I mean, obviously, like with Marvel, they have, there are people involved in, giving input and overseeing, even if they don't actually write the scripts and things like that. But I'm thinking of examples where, you have people behind the scenes who don't really understand what's going on, and that's why the movies turn out bad or even don't get produced for whatever reason. I'm wondering, have either of you guys seen this thing where I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but you guys are familiar with Kevin Smith, the director of Clerks and Chasing Amy?
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, I mean, I don't know if you guys knew, this is probably 10, 12, 15 years ago. He was supposed to be writing a Superman movie, and there was a clip on YouTube where he was doing some sort of speaking or whatever, where he was talking about how he had, got the job or whatever, and he's talking to the producer and he's trying to explain his ideas to the guy, and the guy is telling him stuff like, well, don't put Superman in a cape because, that red cape makes him look gay, don't have him fly because flying's stupid, that's retarded, I don't want to see that, and stuff like that, and of course that, that movie never got made, whatever, and, another example I can think of was, the whole thing about why there's no Wonder Woman movie, I mean, we were supposed to get like a Joss Whedon Wonder Woman movie like about 6 years ago, and Joss Whedon had like written the script, gotten it approved, was about to go into production, and the studio pulled it, like the last moment, and told him something like, we want to go in a new direction. I know Joss was saying stuff like, they told me they didn't like my approach, but they didn't tell me what they actually wanted, and I think Joel Silver, the same guy who produced the Matrix movies and a lot of other things, had actually said he had like lost, interest in it because he didn't, he just didn't really get the character, So I think it's more important to have people behind the scenes that, understand the source material and understand what type of, have a vision for the character and how to like, bring it across to, bring it across to the general public, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense,
Yeah, it does. Just goes to show how much of an asshole some of these movie producers, some of these guys at Warner Brothers are.
Yeah. And writers are very low, unfortunately, on the food chain when it comes to, rankings of, the final decisions getting made in a film. And, producers can even throw the decision of the director. So, I mean, we talk a lot about, who the best director would be and stuff, but yeah, Edward's absolutely right in saying that the producers really need to be well versed in the source material, and that's one of the good things about Nolan producing the Batman films, because he was so hands-on. You need a producer, or you need a director that's also like that, who will also produce and write. That was also one of the good things about Bryan Singer working on the X-Men films. The whole, everything that everyone hates about the X-Men films for Fox didn't really happen in the first two films. After he left, Singer was writing, directing, and producing. So, yeah, you need a director who's going to be that hands-on.
Yeah. So I guess we've pretty much spent a majority of this time talking about directors. What do you guys think about actors to play the big role Bruce Wayne Batman? What do you guys think? I know I talked with you, Shades, on, because you really wanted Michael Fassbender to play Batman.
Yeah, I really do. I feel like I know he's Magneto and that, but I mean, Chris Evans has been in like 8 comic book movies playing different characters, so I don't think that matters. But Michael Fassbender, to me, is really one of the best actors around right now. And, you look at his performances in films like First Class or in Shame or in Prometheus and stuff like that. He plays a different person every time. So people saying he can't be Batman because, he was Magneto, he can't be Batman. I mean, that's ridiculous. I feel like, if anything, he's the perfect Bruce Wayne right now. He, physically resembles the character, and he's a great enough actor that he would definitely do his own thing with Batman. Similar to Bale, redefining Batman, in live action in his way. When people try and talk like Batman, they do Christian Bale's voice now. I mean, not voice actors, but general people trying to emulate Batman do Christian Bale's voice. Yeah. I feel like Michael Fassbender has the ability to do something like that, really make the character his own.
Yeah, see, to me, Fassbender would be cool as Batman, but like I told you, man, I think he'd be really good as Harvey Dent.
He would also be an excellent Harvey Dent, no doubt.
Ed, what do you think? You've been kind of quiet.
Oh, you know what? Because it's really hard for me to think of like actors who I want to see play superheroes and things. But I was just kind of like mulling over what you guys just said. Actually, Michael Fassbender would actually be an excellent choice. You know what I mean? I think he'd be able to bring a certain amount of I don't know what I want to say, weight to the character, or certain, you know what I mean, a certain amount of gravitas, that, you know what I mean, a certain amount of seriousness, I guess. And I actually think that would be an excellent choice. Can I ask, just not to go too off topic, would either of you guys, be interested in seeing any other members of the, I guess, Bat family involved? Like, would you guys be interested in seeing, if they were to put a Robin or a Batgirl or a Batwoman, in any movie that they may or may not come up with?
Yeah, I'm desperate to see Nightwing done in live action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not mind Robin. It's so damn difficult to put in Robin. It is, but I'm still a firm believer of you can do Robin right if you get the right actor and the right story to it. I mean, hell, if you want to do in this first Batman movie, you could tell the whole story of Dick Grayson becoming Robin and just have Batman there.
Yeah. I would also be cool in this story in this new film, showing Dick Grayson's transition from Robin to Nightwing. I would kind of like to see that done on film. I've often said that I don't need to see Robin's origin if they were to ever do a Nightwing film, I wouldn't need them to make it a spin-off from someone already playing Robin. I would be cool with them just starting as Nightwing and showing Dick Grayson's origins in the opening title sequence in a similar way to what they did with Incredible Hulk, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But on film, because the general public still unfortunately see Robin as gay or whatever, and I feel like that would be a cool way to redefine the character for people who don't really know him, is show the transition from Robin to Nightwing, because he's in a very different state when he's at the end of his run as Robin, Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about any of the Batgirl characters?
Actually, if they wanted to, I'd be okay with Barbara Gordon already Oracle. Like, you could already establish what happened to her between her and the Joker. The Killing Joke happened. In fact, you could actually do the Killing Joke in one of the movies, probably.
Yeah.
Or have a loose adaptation.
Would you want to see them do the Killing Joke and then have her, translate into where she is now in the New 52, or?
Oh, you mean just stay as Oracle? I'm sorry. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how she can walk again. My apologies. But yeah, it's just difficult to bring in the Batman family in general. I don't know, like, it would be cool to see just have Nightwing in this movie, and we could say all that stuff. It's just the general public is a big factor into it, as well as the stories themselves when you're trying to make a Batman movie. But some of these characters are so rich in character that they could outshine. There's a possibility they could outshine Batman.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I feel like it's the sort of thing where everyone in the world knows who Batman is. No matter what they perceive Batman to be, whether it's comics or the Arkham video games, or it's the Nolan trilogy or the '60s show or whatever, everyone has this vision of Batman, and I feel like you have the opportunity in the new franchise to introduce characters that the general public doesn't know. I mean, we've seen a lot of the villains, done now, like most of Batman's major villains. And, Bane was even a new villain to some people, and, people probably don't even know that he was in Batman and Robin, which is a good thing. But I feel like you have the opportunity to do some of the Bat family people like Dick Grayson or Tim Drake or Barbara Gordon or Stephanie Brown or whoever, like, I feel like you have that opportunity, and, you know, they get a little bit more of a fan base based on the film.
Yeah. Again, I'm just saying, it can be done, it's just difficult, so...
It is, it is difficult, because then you risk Batman not being the central focus of the film, which, you know, is who people have really paid to see. I feel like you can do them as supporting characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is slightly off topic, but something what Kirk just said made me think about this. You know, there's the whole thing of supposedly Warner Brothers has greenlit a Justice League movie, and you know, I know there's a lot of people, you know, here and there saying that, oh no, they should, you know, they need to do it the way that Marvel did it by doing, you know, individual movies that introduce all the characters and then do the Justice League movie. But kind of what Kurt said made me think of something I was thinking of. Like, everybody kind of already knows who, like, the major characters are, even if they don't even read comics. Everybody knows who Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman are. There's already been a Green Lantern movie. So I guess just getting to the point, do you guys have any feelings about whether or not they should do it that way? My feeling is everybody already knows those characters, so you could just do a Justice League movie. I mean, do either of you guys have any feelings regarding that, or do you think they should, you know, do the, you know, the slow build up the way that Marvel did with the Avengers and so on and so forth?
I think a combination of both works. I feel like you can do solo movies for characters like Wonder Woman, Flash, and Aquaman, or that, and or maybe not Aquaman. Sort of do Aquaman in a similar way to what they did with Hawkeye. And then just make the reboots for Batman and Superman, the Justice League movie, and then do their solo movies as spin-offs from that. It's a good thing to introduce characters like Wonder Woman and Flash to a new generation in a solo film first. I feel like that is a good thing, but I don't think you need to do that with Superman and Batman, because everyone knows who they are, and you can do their reboots in the film and then continue their franchises after that. That's sort of been my feeling for a while, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, here, alright, let's move on to, I guess, the next thing, the villains. So, like I said earlier in the video, and like I've said a little bit more about, is the initial idea right now is talk about the origins of Gotham. So, do you think they'll do the Court of Owls?
I don't know. Possibly, because, you know, just because that's the big thing in the comics now. But I mean, I couldn't imagine, you know, what, like you said, what Warner Brothers is actually going to want to do, you know. I don't know. I mean, if they said that's what they're actually doing, you know, I can see them doing that. My thing is, though, I'm not sure I would want to see. I'll tell you who I don't want to see. I don't want to see another. Not that I don't want to see them, but I don't think they really need to do another, like, you know, Joker thing or another Two-Face thing. I'm kind of like you, Ty, where, you know, I'm ready to see, like, other villains and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
I want a proper Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, not in the same movie, but separately.
Absolutely.
Mr. Freeze would actually be really great if they did it right, you know.
Yeah. There's, like, Mr. Freeze could carry his own movie without Schwarzenegger.
I mean, I think if we can learn anything from Dark Knight Rises, it's that people will, you know, really forget how he is screen beforehand if he's done badly. You know, because Bane was freaking horrible, and in Batman and Robin, and he was fantastic in Rises, and he was a completely different character. It was, you know, in some ways a reinvention. It won't transcend to the comics, but I mean a reinvention of the character in some ways. So you can definitely do that with Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze doesn't necessarily need a reinvention. you just do what's on the page. You don't have him, cracking 50 ice puns a minute.
Yeah.
Sure.
Word to people out there: don't do whiskey shots to Mr. Freeze cold puns in the movie. You will lose a liver. Just saying.
You will not have whole poisoning.
Liver cirrhosis.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't know anything about that. Of course not.
You actually done that?
Once. Don't want to do. I didn't even make it halfway through the movie.
Oh no.
I don't drink, but like I would, even if I did, I'm not sure if I would ever risk my life doing that.
Hey, you know what's worse? Doing shots to plot holes in Revenge of the Fallen.
Well, yeah, that's probably worse.
And I know a guy who tried that. Anywho, so trailers.
I haven't said that in a while.
Yeah, another character I want to see, like, done right. I mean, not saying that I didn't like his performance, but I want to see Riddler. And I'm not even a big Riddler fan, but I want to see the Riddler done scary, but kind of like how Jim Carrey kind of made him, like, this fantastic character. Like, a combination of that.
Well, let me ask: do you really think that the Riddler is inherently as? I mean, I think he's a good character, but would you really define him as scary?
Well, someone can. Well, there have been some versions where the Riddler has been kind of creepy, but I, for one, think you can do a movie like that, like something. I think the reason why they were kind of nervous about, because apparently Christopher Nolan came out and said he wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play Riddler in the movie before the Bane and Catwoman.
That's actually not true. I don't know who said that, but Nolan has said that he never said that.
Really? Now, well, I feel like a dumbass.
No, sorry, I don't mean to call you out on that one. But yeah, I was watching an interview recently, and he was like, "No, I didn't want that." So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I would just like...
Oh, sorry about that. The wind actually just blew my door closed. I was just going to say, though, yeah, I think the Riddler could be done right, but I would see him... I wouldn't see him as like a scary guy the same way that I think the Joker's a scary guy, or that Two-Face is kind of scary. But I would see him as, a master manipulator type of person, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like you said, maybe halfway between, make him a serious threat or villain or whatever, but, don't try to make him a psychopath or whatever, but, just the guy that thinks he's smarter than everybody, he's able to taunt the cops or whatever.
Basically make him a combination of Jigsaw and Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I think he can be scary in a Hannibal Lecter sense. I think a good example of what they could do with the character is the movie Seven. Like what Kevin Spacey's character was in that. I think that's kind of a cool way. He's scary, not horror thriller film kind of scary, but he more scary in how much of a manipulator and how smart and how one step ahead of everyone he is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, well, actually, the actor I would like to see play Riddler, and I don't know, probably neither of you guys have heard of him, but David Tennant.
Yeah, it's funny, I'm not a huge David Tennant fan. I'm also not a huge Doctor Who fan. But, I know a lot of people love him. But I honestly haven't seen a lot of his work other than Doctor Who, so...
Yeah, he was in the new Fright Night remake, which I've seen,
yeah.
And it's not bad, and he's been in other movies before, and I don't know, like, he could play... I think he could really pull off playing, just being wild and crazy, and then just play sinister, or straight up sinister. Again, I also think that this is the same guy I think I would cast for Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four reboot.
Well, that's the mark of a good actor. If they can play two completely different characters.
Yeah,
sure.
I've seen a lot of David Tennant's Shakespeare stuff, and he's a good Hamlet, I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the one that's the first person I want for Riddler. Second one would be, who was it? The guy who played Sylar. Zachary Quinto.
Zachary Quinto would be awesome.
I wouldn't have thought about that, but I agree.
Yeah. If he plays Riddler like he plays Sylar, like, that's just awesome.
Yeah, he's my number 2 pick. Either he play the Riddler, or I'd have him play... who was it? Because I had another Batman villain in mind, was... why am I forgetting it now? Hugo Strange.
Really?
A much younger Hugo Strange, but... like I said, first pick for him would be Riddler. The other person I picked for Hugo Strange would be Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley would be really good.
Okay.
Hugo Strange. This is sort of a far out there pick. Well, maybe not, but I would really love to see Patrick Stewart as Hugo Strange. He looks awesome with a beard and glasses, and I'm just like, man, he could be a really cool and threatening Hugo Strange, because Patrick Stewart is a god among men.
Yes. Another character, because I want to see Poison Ivy, but I don't know who to cast as her. I want to see her done right.
I'd like to see Eva Green as Poison Ivy.
Oh, she'd be cool.
Help me out. Eva Green is from what she's on?
Royale. She was the love interest in that. She's what was that Burton movie she was in this year? I can't even remember it now. She's a French actress, and what else has she been in? I can't think.
Yeah. This is gonna be another stretch, and bear with me, but and this is just a wild card pick. Ellen Page is Harley Quinn.
I like Ellen Page. I'm not sure if I see her as Harley Quinn. I mean, she's a great actress. I actually like her.
Yeah.
But,
If you've ever seen the movie Hard Candy, that's where I got, like, this is creepy. Like, I felt disturbed by her.
In Hard Candy. Like, wow. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of hers. I'm not sure if I see her as Harley Quinn. The Harley Quinn, for me, that I thought would be good is Kristen Bell. From Heroes and Veronica Mars and stuff.
Yeah.
right.
And, because, I don't know, there's stuff in Heroes where she's kind of a demented psycho bitch at times. So, like, I could see her playing Harley Quinn. And the big thing for me that made me choose her is she wants to play Harley Quinn because she's a fan of the character. So, like, she's said in interviews, I want to play Harley Quinn. So I was like, oh, then do it. Because, you know, she's passionate about it. And I think that's one of the first steps for an actor when playing comic book characters, that they have to respect the source material. So,
yeah.
Piggybacking off of what you just said, though, you kind of got to be careful about that, because Nicolas Cage wanted to be Superman at one point, so...
He also Ghost Rider, and he got that, and that's not a good thing either, so...
I mean, I'm a huge Nick Cage fan, but, you know... Yeah, I know, it's Nick as Superman, and, you know... I don't know, you know?
Yeah. Oh, Man of Steel. I'm invincible. I can fly. Up and away, motherfuckers. Yeah, because Superman would totally say, up and away, motherfuckers.
Move through, you poisonous snake.
Here's another one. Here's another villain pick. Philip Seymour Hoffman as the Penguin.
Yeah, that was the big rumor for Rises for a long time as well.
Oh, really? Okay. I like Philip Seymour. I like him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and, you know, I know it was rumored, but I looked at him and was like, he could totally pull off a really cool Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah, I really think he could. He has the stature and stuff. He's an awesome mobster villain as well. In what's it called? Mission Impossible 3, I think it was. Like, he was one of the really good things about that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. While I think of it, one of my pick for Riddler for a while has been Michael C. Hall, Dexter. I would really like to see that.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's a good pick. That's actually an excellent pick, I think.
Yeah, that's really good too. What if they had Black Mask in the movie? I don't know who you would cast for him. Like, you need some... Black Mask would be cool. I mean, if this was done... he was in his prime, Al Pacino for Black Mask.
That would have been awesome.
I don't know, like, other characters, like I said, with, Clayface would be cool. You need somewhat, like, for some reason, I really want, like, a big theatrical name to play Clayface because he is an actor through and through. So, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of someone who could play someone who can, you know, range themselves, even when they're doing a giant CGI blob monster.
Yeah. Well, that's something where you do need a really good actor. I think that was one of the good things about casting Rhys Ifans as the Lizard in Spider-Man, because he also played the Lizard. He also played the Lizard. So, you kind of need an actor who is sort of really comes through in motion capture as well.
Yeah. How about this? Have either of you guys seen the movie? The TV series Sherlock?
I have seen some of it.
I haven't seen it.
What about him as Clayface?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Clayface when he's not Clayface, to be honest. He's not sort of a character I kind of look to read stories of. So I don't know a whole lot about his alter ego. His alter ego's like a actor, like a stage performer. Yeah, I knew that much, but that's sort of all I know. Like, I that is a sort of a failed actor. So yeah, I mean, if you think it'd be a good choice, then I just sort of don't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah. Here's another one. This is for Alfred, actually. This is my pick for Alfred. William Hurt. Well, not Alfred. I meant Commissioner Gordon. Excuse me.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think Alfred should always be played by a British actor.
Yeah, I had a brain fart. I meant William Hurt for Commissioner Gordon.
William Hurt would be awesome.
I could see it.
I mean, I'm completely 100% on the boat of, Bryan Cranston needs to play Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, I forgot about Cranston. Hurt or Cranston would be great as Gordon.
Yeah. Cranston, I mean, when I started watching Breaking Bad, and like the first season, I'm like, oh my god, it's Commissioner Gordon. And then, he did such a great job voicing him in year one. So, yeah, he's my pick. But when it comes to Alfred, I think he's one of the hardest characters to cast, because I really can't think of anyone.
Yeah. There's an actor that I don't know if you know of his name. His name is Derek Jacobi.
No.
It's not ringing bells. What's he done?
He's done some Doctor Who. Actually, and this is another long shot one. He's another Doctor Who character. Sylvester McCoy. He's going to be in the Hobbit movie to play Alfred.
Wait, he's in. I'm confused. There's an Alfred character in.
No. Well, no, hang on. Okay, let me back up because I know I confused everyone. The character, the actor Sylvester McCoy played the Doctor in one of the Doctor Who series, but now he's going to be in the Hobbit movie.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I'm sort of looking at him now. he could play Alfred. Looking at him, I haven't seen him as Doctor Who, but yeah, sure. Because one of the people I thought would be a good Alfred, but he's probably kind of maybe too old. Is and I'm completely spacing his name right now. Christopher. Crap. He just won an Oscar, and he was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. My gosh, I cannot think. Christopher Plummer.
Oh, he'd be cool.
Okay.
He's a bit too old.
That's the thing. I feel like maybe 5 years ago, maybe like when Begins was coming out, he would have been good. But yeah, though I would not trade anyone for Michael Caine.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah, he would have been. He could have been a good Fred, I think.
Yeah. Other thing was, here's another one. This is for actually the Mad Hatter. What's his name? He's in Game of Thrones. Sorry for the background noise, but I'm forgetting his name. He played,
The small.
Yeah.
Crap. What is his name? Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage. I think he would be a fantastic Mad Hatter.
Okay.
I really like Peter Dinklage. I think he's a very good actor. I haven't actually seen a whole lot of Game of Thrones, but I sort of like him for Death at a Funeral. Both of them, he's really good. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the American remake, but he is awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, the reason why, not because like his size, is because like he is a very ranged actor, and he, in some of the scenes of Game of Thrones, he does play very creepy and very sinister type character. So I have no stretch of the imagination that he could play a good Mad Hatter. I mean, he doesn't have to be a main villain of the series. He can just be in the movie.
Mm.
One of the people I thought would be a good Mad Hatter, I'm forgetting his name right now. He's in Harry Potter. He plays Peter Pettigrew. What is his name? I'll have to look it up. Go on.
Yeah. You notice, people out there, that we're not talking about people for Joker because it's fucking hard and you're already have to build off of Heath Ledger's performance?
But hey, can I throw this out there? Do either of you guys think it would be better if they, maybe adapted certain storylines, or do you think it'd be better for them to do, just an original story,
I think original stories wouldn't be any problem.
Yeah, there's some stories that I think would be really great, and I think they're cinematic as it is. Like, I'd like to see Batman Prey done someday. And, Hugo Strange is the main villain in that, and, I would have said Nightfall, if they didn't kind of adapt some of the main points of that in Rises, but, what else? I kind of would still like to see a live-action Under the Red Hood film. They probably won't ever do that, but I would like to see them do that.
Okay.
Yeah. With Jenna Sackles as Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Again, sorry for the background noise, because some people don't know when to fucking shut up!
Well, they did that.
Okay. So I think we've pretty much thrown out all the ideas on the table.
Timothy Spall is the actor I couldn't think of, by the way. But anyway,
yes, thank you. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm spent.
Yeah, I think there's a million possibilities you could choose with a Batman reboot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going to be hard to top what's already been done.
Yeah. So...
Sure.
I don't know. I've already racked my brain enough, and I've already spent all my ideas out on the Days of Futures Past stuff I did with you, which, by the way, go check out on his channel.
Yeah.
You'll love it. We're kind of serious in that one.
Uh-oh.
Until we got on the subject of Jubilee.
Oh, what about... Just because I'm curious, what about Jubilee?
She's a vampire. It's like, why?
Oh. No, is that still going on, though?
Yeah, she's still a vampire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've not read X-Men for a while, and, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It got kind of a little bit too convoluted for me. I mean, I'm a huge X-Men fan, but things got kind of too convoluted. And the last thing I read that had anything to do with Jubilee was, what was it? I guess it was the first issue of that miniseries she did with, I think it was Wolverine Jubilee, and they were kind of dealing with the fact that she was still a vampire. But for whatever reason, I just assumed that at the end of that, they were going to cure her or something.
Yeah.
But I guess that didn't happen.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we're pretty much done over here, so I'd like to thank Shades at Night and Edward262 for helping me with this video.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys tell us, what do you think of the oncoming Batman reboot, which won't be around for another 4-5 years, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's been 4 years since we had the Dark Knight, so that isn't that long.
Yeah. So, anywho, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Take it easy.